Hello and welcome to the Medical Moment with Dr. Valerie Walker. We're going to change gears here. We're going to take you on a trip around the world because today we're going to be talking about the rainforest. When you think of the rainforest, what do you think about? Do you think about some prince just running through the woods looking for his princess that you see on the Disney movies and all? Or do you realize that the rainforests are actually areas in the world that are characterized by a canopy of trees that grow over them, all types of wildlife and plants. We've estimated there are millions of plants and animals and insects that are located in the rainforest that we haven't even discovered yet. So let's just go through what is the rainforest. When this is over, I'd like to know you to know what your objectives are going to be. You're going to know what is the rainforest, where they're located, and why they are so important in our ecosystem and our eco-environment. Well, first of all, the rainforest, like I said, is a closed area where it rains almost 80 inches annually. That is a lot of rain. The first layer, the rainforest, is divided into layers, and I want you to memorize these layers. And a lot of times when I come on, you may want to get you out a little pen and pencil so you can jot a lot of this stuff down. The rainforest has 4 layers to it, and the first layer is called the emergent layer, and that's the layer where all the tall trees are. Tall trees. That way when you got to stretch your neck up to look up at the trees. So tall trees are the first area of the rainforest. And quote unquote rainforest, I'm giving you a hint. Rain, I told you it rains almost 80 inches a year, and forest, meaning the trees. So it's tall trees first, number 1. And that's the emergent layer. The second layer is what we call a canopy layer, where it's just coupled off of all these trees that surround it, is that area called the canopy area, and it contains many of the large trees in the rainforest. The other layer is the understory layer, and this is the layer which is the layer that has a lot of wildlife to it, like birds and snakes and lizards and predators like jaguars and all these animals. They're in the third layer, the understory layer. And speaking of snakes, I can remember one time when I was taking care of my mother in Georgia, and you know, everybody know I'm from Georgia, and we live out in the country, and I was taking the trash out one morning, and usually when you go out in Georgia, you go out the back door, you look around, but there again, as most of us rush a lot of times, I was rushing, so we had a wheelchair ramp built for mother, so it was on an incline, so you just go out the back door, and you know in the country how the trash cans are out back, and I went out back, didn't think nothing, just had a bag of trash, went out to the trash can, dumped it, came back up the steps, but for some reason, I guess that was just the Holy Spirit was telling me to stay to the right of the ramp. As soon as I got to the top of the ramp, I heard a noise and something said, "Look to the left," and I looked to the left. Biggest snake you have ever seen in your life had crawled up and was right at the back door, and the snake was so long, when I kind of glanced back, the body of the snake was going all the way back in the yard. I went, oh my goodness. And we had talked real early in Georgia, when you run up on a snake, you make no sudden moves, you just kind of move on. So I just gently opened the kitchen door, and I went, oh Lord, please don't let this snake bite me. I'll never get over it. And I went through the back door, and once I got in the back door, I closed the door. And I looked back out to make sure he was still there, and he was. So I ran and called the police, but I didn't want to upset my mother because she'd been sick. So I was whispering to the police chief. I said, I need you to come out right now. What's the nature of your emergency? You just 911. I said, well, there's a big old giant snake on the carport. And he went, oh my goodness, there's a big giant snake on the parking lot, on the carport. Let's get someone out there right away. I said, please. So I went on the front porch because I didn't want to scare my mother and tell her a big snake was outside. So I went outside to wait on the police, and I told them, now don't come with your siren blasting and doing all this crazy stuff because it's going to scare my mother. Just pull in, kill the snake, and go about your business. Well, they pulls up, and one officer jumps out with his shotgun. Oh, I'm ready for battle myself. I'm going to give me one of those shotguns. Where's the snake, Dr. Walker? I said, right on the side of the house. So I'm standing there going, Lord, when they do the boom, 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 when they shoot the snake, I don't know what I'm going to tell mother, but I worry about that when it gets to it. So I'm just sitting there just waiting. And I'm just waiting, and I'm just waiting on this big boom, boom. It never came. So after a while, the police came back from around the building. I said, I didn't hear no gunshots. What happened to the snake? Oh, we found him, but he wasn't poisonous. And in Georgia, it's illegal to kill a non-poisonous snake. I said, had I known that, I would have got my shotgun and shot him myself. They didn't shoot him. They picked him up and threw him in the woods. I said, he gonna come back. You just throw him in the woods somewhere. So I said all that to say, in the rainforest, there are snakes also. So there are all kind of animals that are in the rainforest. But just remember, you got those layers. You got the emergent layer with the big tall trees, the canopy layer, which just layers the rainforest with all these trees, the understory layer, and that's where a lot of the wildlife, the birds, the snakes, and all that live. And a very important part of the rainforest, that bottom layer, they call it the forest floor, because this is where they only receive about 2% of sunlight, way down at the bottom. So the only thing to grow in sunlight, that low of things that are temperate to grow in low sunlight areas. And those are things like fungus. But guess what? Even though the fungus are among us, they got a good job. They help decay debris and everything else. So everything in the world works for a reason. And it all works in sync together. So that's when we go in burning up forests and rainforests and disrupting all these things, we are really messing up. We need to leave these entities just the way they are, that they set up to coincide and to go together. On the forest floor, there are all types of flowers, arches. They estimate that there are actually millions and millions of plants and insects and animals that we haven't even discovered. And because we get so many of our medications from the rainforest, that's why I tell people, you think the biggest pharmacy in the world is the one sitting on your local corner? No. Biggest pharmaceutical company in the world is actually the rainforest, because we get so many of our medications and healing things from the rainforest. So it's best to leave it intact, and we have to protect it. There are estimates that 40 to 75% of all species, can you believe that, in the world has an origin or a native to the rainforest. So that's how important it really, really is. So what we want to do, we want to always try to protect the rainforest. We can't just go in burning up land and burning up everything, because one of the characteristics of the rainforest is that they don't have any wildfires. And then they have things there called epiphytes and lianas. And what epiphytes do, these are organisms that live on top of plants. And guess what? They're not even parasitic. Let me tell you how we can learn from the rainforest, all you parasites out there living on people. The epiphyte actually gets its nutrients from other places. It's moisture, it's food and all. So even though it's living on the leaf of the plant, it does not deprive or get paralytic with the plant. So all of you living at home and just mooching off of people and not doing anything, learn from the rainforest. So what I want to leave you with is actually we have to protect it for research, medical issues, everything. Sting, that good-looking singer Sting, and his wife Trudy, they actually have a foundation, and it's called www.rainforestfoundation.org. I need you to join and go look into it and see what you can do to preserve the rainforest, because they are very, very needed. They're located in the tropics, South America, Southern Asia, the temperate ones in North America, Ireland actually, South China. So we want to preserve the rainforest. This is where we get so much knowledge about medicine, about how to survive, how not to be a mooch and live like the epiphyte, and all these things we learn from the rainforest. So next time you want to take a family vacation, look up a rainforest and go visit them and get all that wealth of knowledge that only nature can provide us. This is Dr. Valerie Walker, and this has been the Morning Medical Moment on Rainforest. Go visit one soon.